How did they not rule the world? It's weird. We just checked in to our site here at Skidaway Island State Park in Georgia, just outside of Savannah.
You guys, we came to a really cool state park. It's one of the cheapest places we've ever been. The biggest, nicest site that we've ever had. Maybe ever.
There is only electric and water, so no sewer, but
Yeah.
we're only here a couple days, so that really didn't matter to us. There's Spanish moss on all the trees. It's a beautiful state park. I just wish we were staying longer now.
We have a lot of fun things planned. We're doing a haunted pub crawl.
Are you surprised that Hilarie found a haunted pub crawl to go on?
It's gonna be great. Yeah, so haunted pub crawl tonight. Then tomorrow we're taking Maggie to get groomed. I was really worried about alligators, but whenever I talked to them at the front, they're like, it's not really a big deal. Like, you don't really need to worry about that.
We may not be able to sleep tonight because of alligators. Apparently Hilarie just found out that there's alligators and did a ton of research in the last couple hours driving in about alligators.
I knew there'd be alligators. I just hadn't had time to think about it yet. But now that we're out of bear country, I can worry about alligators. So.
They don't make alligator spray, so I'm not sure how we're going to respond to
Can you
that.
believe it? There's nothing you can do to protect yourself from an alligator.
How did they not rule the world? It's weird.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Check, 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 check. I got the Treylor Park nachos. Instead of queso, there's like ranch, like a chive ranch dressing, and there's fried chicken on it. I think there's balsamic vinegar, pickles, and instead of chips, they have potatoes. So basically, not nachos at all, but it's really good. I like it.
I got the Low Country flatbread. It's like shrimp and grits on a pizza. It's amazing. You should come to Savannah for this.
Last night we went on a haunted pub crawl. The concept itself is a great idea, especially in Savannah. Our tour guide, Becca, was really easygoing, a ton of good stories. This is an instance where she just kept walking us. Every few minutes she would have another story for us. One interesting fact about Savannah is that it has so many dead bodies here, and the land was actually founded on an ancient burial ground. The word is that in Savannah, everywhere you stand, you're always 9 feet within a dead body.
We are at Wormslow Historic Site. This was the home of Noble Jones and subsequently 7 generations of his family, dating all the way back to 1733. It's run by the Parks Department here in the state of Georgia. There's a lot of trails that you can walk through nature, and you can see the old home site. It was named Wormslow after the area that the family was from in Wales and England. It costs about $10 per person to get in, but that gives you access to all of the trails and all the historical sites. There's a lot to kind of walk around and see, and it's all spread out, so you get to do a little walking. Today's a perfect day for it because the weather's great here in Georgia in October.
This Spanish moss that you guys see on all of these trees, it's gorgeous. They're actually air plants. They actually don't require any dirt or soil at all. They just live from trees and on top of lines and poles and all kinds of things. So they can kind of live anywhere, which is crazy. So even if you see it on the ground, it might still be alive. The live oak tree is the tree of Georgia, and it's kind of interesting because it gets only around 50 feet tall, but then the branches spread out like 100 feet. Really one of the things that make the vegetation here just looks so cool. And then you got the Spanish moss hanging out off of these huge long branches. It's very unique.
Behind me are ruins of a tabby home from the 1730s. These would have consisted of a walled outer courtyard and an internal home. These are made out of sand and seashells. That's how they were making homes back in colonial times.
I think it's so fascinating that the family still lives here. It's crazy. The idea that like you could go back 7 generations and know that this is where your family's from and that you live here still is just, it's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's cool.
Maggie is going to the salon today, and we are going to go to Wolfgang Puppy Place. Bakery slash groomer. Okay, let's go. What's going to happen? Happened to walk past this plaque and read it and thought it was so interesting. This is where the first black nun lived here in Georgia, Mathilda Beasley. She came from New Orleans and she taught black children in her home, and that was before it was really legal. When her husband died, she moved off to, she traveled to York, England to study as a nun, came back here, founded the first black nun group in Georgia. She created an orphanage. She would sew things and give the proceeds away to the poor. When she eventually lived out her life, they found her in the chapel here and she was kneeling. She knew her life was ending, and she had put her instructions and her will and her funeral clothes right next to her there in the chapel. Wow, what an amazing woman. And I didn't even know about her until we came here.
So we loved our time in Savannah. It was a great place to be. The food was excellent. We also love Skidaway State Park. If you're in that area and you like to RV or camp at all, make sure you hit it up. We had to get up really early to make it to where we are right now, which is where we're gonna take you in the next episode. So make sure you're subscribed, because this is Miami Beach and we want you to be there with us next week.
done. Signing off.